Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Madam Sasya and my fellow friend. We are from Group 3 will present about new technology which are cloud computing and big data. Before we start, let me introduce our team members. We have Juliana Ismail, Nur Asmira binti Aminuddin, me myself Nurul Ashikin binti Muhammad Yazid, and Yusuf bin Abdul Halid. So, I will start with the definition of cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing has emerged as a support system for IT and different types of businesses, as the cloud computing technology has become the latest trend. But we cannot forget about the traditional application because they are still used in several industries. Cloud computing is a delivery of different services through the internet. These include tools and applications such as data storage, server, database, networking, and also software. The information can be accessed remotely in the cloud or virtual space as long as there is internet, and also it allows the user to work remotely too. It means that the users are not required to be in a specific place to gain access to it. Besides that, cloud computing also functions as a storage to store any files or database or financial information on a remote server rather than keeping them on a hard drive or local storage device. Depending on their particular needs, businesses can select between the three types of cloud deployment models to run their application, which are private, public, or hybrid clouds. First, let's take a look what is a private cloud. Private cloud is a data center that provides hosted services with specific access and right setting to a small group of users. Although it's expensive, it can give larger companies a greater sense of security and independence. Next is public cloud. It sells services to anyone online, offering infrastructure and services to companies who want to reduce their IT operation costs. It is ideal for small and medium-sized businesses. And lastly, hybrid cloud, which offers a more specialized IT solution that satisfies certain business objectives by combining the two models, which is private and public. That's all for the definition. Now, I will pass to the next presenter, Asmira.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Asmira and I will continue the presentation with the types of cloud computing service models. The first one is Infrastructure as a Service, IaaS. It is the most basic type of cloud computing offerings. IaaS allows you to pay as you go basis rent IT infrastructure from a cloud provider, including server and virtual machines, storage, network, and operating systems. Secondly is Platform as a Service, PaaS, which is supply and on-demand environment for managing, distributing, and testing software applications. The goal is to ease developers from having to set up or manage the servers, storage, networks, and database required for development in order to rapidly create online or mobile apps. Third is Software as a Service, SaaS, a method for delivery of software programs over the internet on demand and often subscription-based. SaaS applications are hosted and managed by cloud service providers who are also take care of any maintenance tasks like software upgrades and security updates. Users often use a web browser through their phone, tablet, or PC to connect to the application through the internet. Lastly, the fourth one is Results as a Service, RaaS. For enterprise offerings, RaaS is usually associated with big data analytics solution. Analytic experts transform big data into business insights where the company can use it. Now, let's take a look at the evolution of cloud computing. Cloud computing is all about renting computing services. In the 1950s, this concept first emerged. 5 innovations were vital in establishing cloud computing into what it is today. These are distributed system and its peripherals, virtualization, Web 2.0, service orientation, and utility computing. It all starts with distributed computing. It is a composition of multiple independent systems, but all of them are depicted as a single entity to the users. The goal is to utilize resources wisely and efficiently while also sharing them. 3 additional computer models emerge as a result of distributed computing, which are mainframe, cluster, and grid models. In 1951, the mainframe machines were in charge of managing large amounts of data, such as those from several input-output activities. These are still used today for applications requiring bulk processing, including online transactions. This improved the system processing power after distributed computing, but they were quite expensive. Cluster computing emerged as a mainframe technology substitute to lower this expense. Cluster computing was first developed in the 1980s, where each machine in the cluster was connected to each other via a network with high bandwidth. As a result, the cost issue was partially resolved, but the geographical restriction issue persisted. The idea of grid computing was suggested to address this. In the 1990s, the concept of grid computing was introduced. It implies that many systems were installed in wholly different places and connected to one another via the internet. The grid was made up of diverse nodes since the system belonged to various organizations. Next is virtualization. It refers to the procedure of building a virtual layer on top of the hardware so that a number of instances can run simultaneously on it. It is a key of technology for cloud computing. Then we have Web 2.0. It serves as a channel by which cloud computing services communicate with their users. Due to Web 2.0, we have interactive and dynamic web pages such as Google Maps, Facebook, and Twitter. After that is service orientation. It serves as a standard reference for cloud computing. It promotes applications that are affordable, adaptable, and versatile. 2 important concepts were introduced: quality of service, which also includes service level agreement, and software as a service. Lastly, before cloud computing, we have utility computing, a technique for provisioning service on a pay-per-use basis, including compute services and other important services such as storage, infrastructure, and many more. Thus, the previous technology contributed to the making of cloud computing. Thank you. I will pass to the next presenter.
So let's move on to characteristics of cloud computing. The first one is resource pooling. Resource pooling means that the cloud service provider can share resources among multiple clients, providing them with a unique set of service based on their needs. It is a multi-client method that can be used for data storage, processing, and also bandwidth provided service. Second is secure platform. Cloud enables the service provider and the clients to place a barriers between sensitive data access and visibility. One of the most powerful techniques available is encryption. Encryption scrambles your data so that only someone with the encryption key can read it. If the data is lost, it will essentially useless and meaningless to other people if they do not have the encryption key. Cloud network also stress data transit security measures such as VPNs to increase the security. Next is easier maintenance. The servers are easily maintained and downtime is often minimal or non-existent. The servers are also continuously updated to improve their capabilities and potential. The updates and maintenance will make it more compatible with the devices and run faster than previous version. This characteristic brought down to how cloud computing works. Cloud computing is powered by data centers. The information is stored in the virtual servers rather than on the phone, computer, or tablet. These virtual servers are linked to massive data centers that have the infrastructure needed to store and safeguard your data. Let's look at the comparison between traditional and cloud accounting. The first one is in terms of cost. It is well understood that any technology that must be maintained and repaired frequently will incur high costs. cloud accounting employs remote servers which will affect the company, which is the overhead cost will be considerably reduced. The company simply need to pay a monthly fee for the amount of storage space that they requires. Furthermore, software upgrades and basic maintenance activities are included at that price. Traditional accounting make use of the accounting software that is installed in the company's computer. These take up server space and requires upgrade, regular maintenance, and also troubleshooting, which will result in higher overhead costs. All of these may be very expensive for small to medium-sized business. Next is accessibility. Traditional platforms are on-premise, which means you must access financial data from a certain location or computer. This could have an impact on your commitments, timetable, and also efficiency. With the cloud, you may access the data from any compatible device using your secured accounts. This off-premise setup can give the accountant more flexibility in terms of their working hours and also where they can access the software. And lastly, environmental effect. Nowadays, all firms aim to be environmentally friendly in their operations. After all, it is our responsibility to limit our effect to the environment and contribute to the well-being of our planet. Traditional accounting harms the environment because it is based mostly on paper trails, printout, and also hardware support. Cloud accounting, on the other hand, is paperless and hosted remotely. It does not consume any environmentally hazardous resources. As a result, this is more ethical option for the company.
Alright, thank you, Yusof. Now let's move on to the next part. Organizations of all sizes and industries are utilizing the cloud for a wide range of use cases, including data backup, disaster recovery, email, virtual desktop, software development and testing, big data analytics, and customer-facing web apps. So here are the examples of the companies that have succeeded with the cloud computing. The first one is Twitter. Twitter is expanding its use of Google Cloud, moving more of its computing infrastructure from its own data center to the cloud platform. Twitter is tapping into the public cloud by picking Amazon Web Service to deliver its services in real time. It is a popular microblogging service with a lot to offer. Its advertising platform hosts billions of ad events daily. In addition to ad placement, Twitter provides a wide range of tools for measuring metrics and performance, analytics, APIs, and dashboard. All these tools help measure ad performance and analyze the efficiency of ad campaigns. Twitter's ad platform has now migrated to cloud, which is showing significant benefit for both the company and its advertiser, such as better accuracy for real-time data, faster customizing for existing features, and building new ones. The next company is Pinterest. Pinterest has been utilizing cloud computing from the start. This application was created as an online pinboard to collect and organize large volume of data from all over the internet. Cloud computing allowed the service to grow at an alarming rate and handle heavy amount of traffic on the daily. Pinterest also uses Amazon Web Services. Pinterest is so much more than the place to save your mood boards and recipe collection. In fact, it has become the go-to place for marketers and bloggers looking for quick and consistent traffic creation. The cloud has aided Pinterest's rise to the 14th largest social media platform in the world. Moving on to the next part, which is advantages cloud computing. Cloud computing provides consumers with numerous advantages and flexibility. Firstly, mobility. It enables accountants to access corporate data via smartphone and other mobile devices. Accountants, auditors, and other staff with hectic schedules or who reside far from the corporate headquarters might use this tool to stay in touch with clients and coworkers. It can provide easily available information to sales staff who travel, freelance employee, or remote employee via the cloud, allowing for improved work-life balance. The next advantage is that cloud computing will enhance the security. Moving to the cloud ensures the security and integrity of client data by reducing the possibility of data leak or computer hacking. Cloud security incorporates several approaches such as login management system, encryption, and multi-factor authentication inside the network architecture to ensure the continuity and safety of critical accounting data and transactions. And lastly, cloud computing provides data backup. Variable data loss may be costly and time-consuming for any business. By providing regular automatic backup, cloud technology enables accountants to focus on their critical work and become more efficient. Cloud data backup are ideal for accounting firms that want to ensure their essential data is available even in the situation of a disaster, such as an earthquake or cyber attack. Firms can restore their accounting data by performing regular backup. Data is frequently stored in various data centers located in geographically diverse locations. That's all for the cloud computing. Now I will pass back to Asmira to explain about big data.
Next, we move to big data. So what is big data? Big data simply refers to incredibly massive data sets that are produced by a number of programs and are typically too big to browse through or query on a standard computer. The digital data comes from various digital sources such as scanners, sensors, the internet, mobile device, emails, and social media. The New York Stock Exchange is an example of big data that generates about 1 terabyte of new trade data per day. There are 3 types of big data, which are structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. The first one is structured data. Structured data is any data that can be accessed, processed, and stored in a fixed format. Over time, computer science expertise has had more success creating methods for handling the type of data where the format is fully understood in advance and extracting value from it. Secondly is unstructured data, which is any data with an undetermined form or structure. Unstructured data has a number of processing issues that make it difficult to extract value from it in addition to its anonymous block. A heterogeneous data with a mix of simple text files, photos, videos, and other types of data is a common example of unstructured data. An example of illustration would be the results from Google search. Lastly is semi-structured data that might contain both the forms of data. We can consider semi-structured data as structured in form, but it is actually not defined with. For example, data contained in an XML file. That's all for me, and now we'll pass to the next presenter.
Let's know more about how big data evolved. Big data in its true essence is not something completely new. Over the course of time, people have been striving to utilize data analysis and analytics approaches to support their decision-making process. However, in the previous 2 decades, the volume and speed with which the data has been generated has increased far beyond human comprehension. Even with today's most advanced technologies, analyzing all of this data is impossible. The necessity to interpret these larger data sets is how traditional data analysis evolved into big data over the last decade. So why exactly big data transformed? In short, it is to help the company to better analyze the data available and help them in their decision-making process. For the characteristic of big data, the first one is volume. The amount of data collected is referred to as volume. Because of the massive volume of the data being collected, this is where big data gets its name. The exact size will differ depending on the data obtained. Second is velocity. Velocity refers to the rate at which big data is collected. This speed increases as the network technology and hardware improve, allowing businesses to record more data sets at the same time. Third is variety. Variety is the different types and source of data which are captured. This could be structured data such as the first name or email address. It can also be from a different source such as the sales, purchase, or packaging department. Fourth is veracity. The quality or trustworthiness of the data is referred to as veracity. It can also be defined as the accuracy and integrity of the data. It is pointless to acquire and analyze the big data if the result of the analysis cannot be trusted. And lastly, value. The worth of the data being collected is referred to as its value. Some big data that a company collects may be little or no use in making decisions or enhancing operations. More analysis of this big data is pointless in this case. The value that the company seeks may be represented in terms of cost savings, workforce efficiency, and more smart business decisions.
Thank you, Yusuf. Assalamualaikum. My name is Juliana Ismail. Okay, I want you guys to know there are actually many companies that use big data, such as Facebook, Apple, Google, Spotify, and many more. But I will give you two examples of companies in this presentation, which are Facebook and Apple. Firstly, Facebook. You have noticed how Facebook reminds us of birthdays or friendship anniversaries, but do you ever realize how Facebook does that? This work is done by big data, and Facebook use big data to enhance their experience of their users. With the help of big data, Facebook creates a short video that contains our old pictures as a memory. Data plays a very vital role for Facebook as they create flashbacks based on data collected. Image recognition is one of the big data technologies adopted by Facebook. It is a technology that advises device on how to observe the details in a particular picture or video just by directing it through several other images. Thus, Facebook accesses every single piece of data and gives you better service each time you log in. Second, Apple. We all know that Apple is an expert in using advanced technology. They are using big data technologies, and now they become involved in big data analytics, with the technology driving their decisions. The data collected by them is used by the company to consider the best approach toward consumers with its new products and services. By using big data, Apple can find how people are using apps in real life and change future designs to fit with customer preferences. For instance, the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch is not just wearable, but also has the ability of data gathering. So we can see Apple Watches now can track what users do during the day. Therefore, wearable devices by Apple have great potential with big data, and they would want to capitalize on it. Next, advantages of big data to accounting profession. Actually, I can say is these advantages also can give the same meaning to the positive impact of big data on the accounting profession. First, big data can change auditing. It gives advantages to accounting profession, especially to auditors. As we all know, auditing is an important part of the accounting industry because it helps in analyzing a company's finance and assets. However, with the use of big data, they revolutionize the way of auditing. Therefore, the audit process, as we can see, is slowly moving from sample-based testing to the data-driven population-level audit that has all the key areas of a business. In the meantime, big data also offers auditors with the structured data. Hence, they will explore more areas and identify outliers more effectively. Second, big data provides real-time reporting. It involves collecting data and relaying it to users immediately, allowing them to view and access important data as soon as it happens. For example, we can say that accounting auditors can provide real-time insight to their customers. They can get access to accurate and most up-to-date financial information at the exact amount they need it. There's no waiting around, no data entry, and no paperwork. From this, they make it simple to capture, process, and share all financial information instantly. And lastly, big data can improve risk management. It improves by simulating many scenarios to realize all the potential risks associated with all financial transactions. Risk in accounting is generally associated with mergers, acquisitions, and supply chain risks. Therefore, big data enables accountants to identify issues with real-time access to the data proactively, and also make decisions based on actual information and facts, rather than guessing and assumptions about the consumers, employees, and vendors. From the previous of all my teammates present about cloud computing and big data, have you guys realized what actually the relationship between big data and cloud computing? Is big data related to cloud computing? What do you guys think? Okay, let me tell you guys. Big data and cloud data actually have a symbiotic relationship. Symbiotic relationship means a mutually interdependent relationship. For example, the two different things of technology which are big data and cloud computing, they use and apply together for their mutual benefit. As the cloud infrastructure effectively enables storage, real-time processing, and big data analysis at scale and quickly. Without cloud computing, there will be a huge amount of untapped potential within big data analytics, as current computers cannot analyze the scale of data feasibly if at all. At the same time, big data plays a role in the development of cloud computing because without big data, there wouldn't be anywhere near as much demand for cloud-based solutions. So I really say that cloud computing services exist because of big data. The only reason we collect big data is that we now have the services capable of collecting, storing, and processing. Simply one will not exist without the other. So, a combination of the two can transform your organization into an efficient, data-driven market leader. However, with these two technologies, they have challenges to the accounting profession nowadays. With the challenges, I also provide some suggestions to overcome them. First, the security and privacy of information is the biggest challenge to cloud computing and big data. This is because their very nature involves storing unencrypted data on a machine owned and operated by someone other than the original owner of the data, and it also has data complexity. As a result, issues arise from lack of data control, lack of trust of all parties with access, uncertainty about the status of data, whether it has been destroyed when it should, or whether there has been a privacy breach, and compliance with the legal flow of data over borders. Therefore, security is a significant worry as it will trigger the reputation and performance of accounting profession such as accountants, auditors, and so on, in terms of integrity and other else. For example, if the security and privacy in cloud computing are neglected, then the private information of each user is at risk, allowing easy cyber breach to hack into the system and exploit any user's private storage data. So the suggestion is the companies can employ encryption, security hardware, and security applications. Once they transfer important data of their organization to a third party, they should make sure they have a cloud security and management system. Cybersecurity experts are more aware of cloud security than any other IT professional. According to a cloud research partner surveys, 9 out of 10 cybersecurity experts are concerned regarding cloud security. Also, they are worried about the violation of confidentiality, data privacy, and data leakage and loss. Second, lack of resources or expertise. One of the technologies challenges companies and enterprises are facing today is a lack of resources or expertise. This is because organizations are gradually putting more workloads onto technologies involved. Organizations are struggling to keep up with the tools as a result of these issues. They have no expert staff and tools for the proper use of cloud technology. Thus, delivering the information and selecting the right cloud is quite difficult without the right direction. Requiring an organization to shift their business to cloud-based technology without having any proper knowledge is like asking for disaster. Therefore, it was a challenge to the accounting profession since they might not have adequate knowledge and evidence to support their decision making. So the suggestion is the company can hire experts of IT and development staff. Some organizations are also expecting to win over the challenges of shifting to cloud computing by employing more workers with certification or skills in cloud computing and big data. Industry professionals also suggest providing training of present employees to make them more productive and speedier using the trendiest technology. Last but not least, inconsistent in computing performance. Data-intensive applications on the cloud require high network bandwidth, which results in high costs. This is because the low bandwidth does not meet the desired computing performance of cloud applications. The business operations may be interrupted when there are disconnections and poor data transmission speed. As a result, the computing performance will not be consistent, and ultimately it leads to business issues including decline in competitive position, customer dissatisfaction, lost revenue, and higher IT costs. The accountants, auditors, and so on will have lack of efficiency in doing their work. Depending on where you are from, internet connection problems can be more frequent than in other places. If you are not careful to keep up with connectivity challenges, you may lose unsaved files. So, to avoid this from happening, always have a backup. The cloud may be a very good and stable soft asset to use for businesses, but it's not without limitations. Having a backup ensures that any problems with files on the cloud during internet connectivity problems are properly dealt with. That's all for me. I will pass to Ashikin to conclude our presentation today.
Alright, thank you Juliana for the great explanation. So, in conclusion, cloud computing can be extremely advantageous to accountants, making their work easier while saving significant operational costs. When technology is used, the quality of the accounting information system improves, becoming faster, more accurate, and more diverse. Cloud computing may change accountants' role, but one aspect of the accounting profession that will never be replaced is humanity. On the other hand, big data offer excellent potential for accountants to add more value to the organization and assist the business in leveraging big data. It deals with assuring the quantity, velocity, and variety of data for better prediction. We believe that these new technologies will increase accounting performance and give a brighter future for the profession. That's all from us. Thank you.